Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel. I've been doing a lot of themed reading vlogs recently, and though I love to film reading vlogs, I've been getting a little burnt out because I feel like I have so many other books that I really want to read that are not a part of any of these themed reading vlogs. So books on my physical TBR, books from the library, and I need to make room for those. So I decided we were going to do a challenge this time, and for the entire week I will be reading 200 pages a day. I did this once before, probably about a year ago now, and it was really fun. I think it's really helpful in completing books on your TBR. So today is going to be day one. It is Monday, it's a holiday, I'm at home, I've got nothing to do. I have a few library books checked out that I'm hoping to get to in this reading vlog. But of course, we have to start off with I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. I am so excited to read this book. It just came out and I've been dying to get to it. So this takes place in Texas in 1989 and it is a slasher, and that's really all I know about it. So I'm very excited. I've been dying to read more from Stephen Graham Jones. So let's get right into the challenge. Okay, day one, checkup number one. I am 106 pages now through I Was a Teenage Slasher. I am enjoying it so far, but I'm also like kind of torn in how I feel. I don't know if I'm a really big fan of the narration style. Like, the story is... Okay, first of all, we have this main character. His name is Tolly, and he is reflecting back on the summer of 1989. I think it was 18 years in the past from where he is presently. So the whole book is told, like, he is sitting down and telling his story. He's writing out his story. So he is talking like directly to the reader because he is writing to somebody. So it's very like stream of consciousness the way that it's written, and we are just like really in his head and hearing all of his thoughts. And we're jumping around a lot and getting different stories about different characters. But I do like a lot of the themes that are presented so far, and I'm really curious to see where the story goes because it's going to start picking up, I think, with him coming in as this slasher, but there is like this supernatural element involved in the story as well, which I think is really interesting. Overall, it's just different from what I expected, but I also didn't have a lot of expectations. I feel like Stephen Graham Jones is one where you just kind of have to go into his books without any sort of expectations one way or the other, because they are always going to do something kind of unexpected. So far, I think it could be a really good book for people who are fans of horror movies, especially the slasher genre. It's just giving all of those vibes. It's very gory. There's a lot of brutal death happening, and we're only 100 pages in, so I think it's really fun. I am going to take a shower, I'm going to relax for a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and read my 93 pages, 93, 94 pages, which is this chunk right here, to get me all the way to page 200 before the day is over. So I'll see you guys later. So I think I'm going to call it a night now. I managed to get 215 pages through I Was a Teenage Slasher. I wanted to stop at one of the chapter breaks, and there are very long chapters in here. I'm still not 100% sure how I feel. This one, based off of the writing, this is not going to be a book for everybody because, like I said, it's very stream of consciousness. So there are times where I really like the writing, but there are also times where I'm not really a big fan of it. One thing I do like about Stephen Graham Jones is his attention to detail, though, and that comes through very clearly in his writing. A lot of the things that are added that maybe seem like they're really small details or seem like they're not necessary, but everything he writes is intentional to the story that's unfolding and the characters that we are learning about and building out. So I really appreciate that. So that's what I mean, like, there are things that I like about the writing and things that I don't like about the writing. So I think from here on, I'm just going to have to wait and see where the story goes in order to determine my actual rating of this book. So let's see. I don't even know how many pages this is. There's a lot of acknowledgements. 264 pages, and I just got to page 264, 364 pages, and I just got to page 215, so there's about 150 pages left, right? Yeah, about 150 pages left, so I will finish this tomorrow. I'll let you guys know my final thoughts, and then we get to start something new, so I will see you guys later. Welcome to day 2. My reading is going great. I am loving this book. I am eating it up. I've read about 75 pages so far, which means I've got about 75 pages left before I finish this, and then I'll have to start another one. But I am really enjoying this, and it's making me I'm just itching to watch a slasher movie now, because that's the whole point of this book, is about this kid that is a slasher, but not everything is as it seems. There are certain things and different circumstances surrounding how he became a slasher and how things are progressing in the story, and I really like it. And I just like all of the different references and the way that Stephen Graham Jones is really analyzing the slasher genre within this book. I really like it. He talks about how in slasher movies the killer wears a mask, and he always walks to his people, and he always walks in a straight line. How in slasher movies, a lot of the time, the people, when they get killed, are typically doing something sexually promiscuous. So they're having sex, they're about to have sex, they're taking a shower, they're skinny dipping. Also, the final girl, and how in pretty much every slasher movie there is a showdown at the end where the person tries to talk to the murderer and try to talk some sense into them, and it's really making me want to watch a slasher movie. Specifically, for some reason, it makes me want to watch Friday the 13th. Now, I know there are a million other slasher movies out there. I've seen a million other slasher movies, but that is the one that is really coming to the forefront of my mind for some reason, especially like I said, when there's this scene where the victim is trying to, or the final girl, whoever, is trying to talk some sense into the murderer. It's really reminding me of in the first Friday the 13th movie, when she puts on the mom's sweater and it's Jason, it's your mother, you don't have to do this anymore. And it's just I don't know, I just want to watch a slasher movie now. So maybe if I finish my reading page goal for the day, I'll sit down and find a slasher to watch, but it is time for me now to sit down and finish this book, and then I'll update you guys with my final thoughts and what book I decide to start next. But quickly, let's have a little library haul, because I did get 2 things from the library. I got another new release that I'm really excited for. This is Hum by Helen Phillips. She wrote the book The Need, which I read I think last year and really liked. I've read one of her short story collections earlier this year. It was not my favorite, but also not the worst. She does a lot of sci-fi, speculative stuff. So I'm really excited for this one, and it's relatively short, so maybe we could fit it in this video. And then I also picked up another one that I'm very excited for. I got The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. If you guys haven't heard me talk about it, I read The 7-Year Slip earlier this year. Was it this year? Oh my god. It was this year, I think. Whatever. Whenever I read that book, I really loved it. I gave it 5 stars, and I've been wanting to read more from her, so I picked this up for a different video towards the end of this month. Look out for that. Anyways, back to what this video is supposed to be about. I'm gonna finish my book, and I'll see you guys later. So, I'm back with my update. I have finished I Was a Teenage Slasher. I really love this one. I'm gonna let my rating sit with me for a little bit, but I honestly think it might be 5 stars. I really love everything that the book did. I really loved the characters and all of the backstory and how much in our main character's head we are, which, like I said, it kind of is a little bit difficult with the writing style, because it is very stream of consciousness. We're in his head, we're hearing this story as he is telling it through his own words, so it's not a lyrical, literary type of writing style, but I really enjoyed it, and I love the things that it did, and like I said, the exploration of the slasher genre, and then these like supernatural elements were really, really fun, and I love the way that it wrapped up. I think it had the perfect ending, so I'm really, really happy about this one. And then I started my next read. I decided to pick up Heads Will Roll by Josh Winning. This one was giving me slasher vibes as well, and riding that high from this book, I was like, why not keep it going with the slasher vibes? I don't know if this will fully be like a slasher, but I think it's supposed to be kind of silly and fun. This is about a actress who, I don't know, I guess something happened. She said something on Twitter that people didn't like, and she got canceled. Her show got canceled, and so she goes to this Camp Castaway, which is like a summer camp for adults basically, but their whole thing is like detoxing from technology. So when you go there, you are there for 2 weeks and you have your phone locked up. There's no television, there's no like any sort of technology, like there's not like digital clocks or anything in any of the cabins. So she signs up for that in order to maybe heal herself, take a break from social media and all of the harsh things that people are saying. So we don't know yet what it was that got her canceled, but I am very curious. But the synopsis itself, because it's talking about like somebody shows up at the camp and people start getting killed, and it says, is Willow about to get canceled all over again? This time for good? And that's why I feel like this book is just going to be silly and campy and fun and not too serious, and I really like it. So I got to page 54, and that is where I'm going to put it down because I have reached my page count for the day and I just kind of want to relax a little bit before bed. But it is interesting so far. I'm curious to see where it goes. I like that we are getting every few chapters just like an excerpt of some sort of media. This is an interview of our main character. There is like a little write-up for one of the episodes of the show she was in, and they're not really, well, at least so far in the book, they're not really vital things to the story, but they're just kind of fun to break it up. So that's where I'm at. This is the end of day 2. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I feel like every update I've done in this video has been in the same spot, but this is my couch where I plan to read for the night, so it just makes sense. It is day 3, right? It is day 3 now. I am settled in for the night. I came home from work. I did my little workout. I did some cleaning. I took a shower. I washed my hair. I ate dinner. So now I am ready to just settle down and read for the night. And I've already read 100 pages of my book today. So I only have 100 more pages to read for the challenge, but I'm thinking I might try to just finish it anyways because this has been a very, very quick and easy read. I don't really have a lot to say about it. It's very fast-paced. It's very entertaining. People are getting killed, and nobody knows who's killing them and what the real truth is behind this camp and the people that are there and the people that run it. So it's entertaining, and I think I could definitely finish it if I just sit down and I put my mind to it. Either way, I'm going to read my 100 more pages to finish the challenge. So that's my day 3 update for now. I don't really have a lot to say. Actually, one thing I will say about this is it's really fun because there's a lot of different references to like the book world. One of the characters in here at one point, just like in passing, is like, oh yeah, I have a booktube channel. There's also mentions of Paul Tremblay, and then our main character as well at one point puts on a Jade Daniels t-shirt, and Jade Daniels is like the main girl or the main character from My Heart is a Chainsaw and that series, which I actually haven't read. I read My Heart is a Chainsaw. I got like 80% of the way through that, and then I just like DNF'd it because I wasn't feeling it. But now I'm kind of questioning that choice because my last 2 books at this point in time, my last 2 5-star books were by Stephen Graham Jones. So maybe I need to go back and try My Heart is a Chainsaw again. Anyways, that's been a really fun aspect of this book. So anybody that is a horror fan and a reader of horror, I think could really enjoy this. And I keep thinking about this quote on the front from Gus Moreno, which says that this book should come with a bucket of popcorn. And I feel like that's the perfect way to explain just the type of book this is. Like, it's silly, it's fast-paced, it's bloody, and it's just been a great time. Lil has an update. Go on. Anything else? Okay, so that's her update. I have completed my page goal for the day. I have read 200 pages of Heads Will Roll today. There was just a reveal in the last couple pages that I predicted, and I was hoping that I would be able to do this update before the reveal actually happened so I could say I have a theory and then see if it was right, but it was right. I guess that, but there's still another mystery that I don't know. I don't have a theory on that. This was just a little reveal, a little twist, if you will, that I guessed. So I think I will just finish this tonight because I really only have a little bit to read. It's going by so quickly, but that is my final update for day 3. So I will see you guys tomorrow for day 4 of the challenge, and I'll let you know my final thoughts tomorrow. Hi, welcome to day 4. Oh, I have to grab Heads Will Roll. Okay, give me just a minute. I sat down to start filming and I realized that I needed to go grab this book from downstairs because I didn't give you guys my final update yesterday. I did finish this last night. I think in the end I'm gonna give it 4 stars. It was just a very fun, very fast-paced, kind of silly, campy slasher horror, and I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the characters. I did enjoy there was a twist that I didn't see coming. There was one twist that I predicted like I told you guys, but the I guess big reveal is something that I didn't see coming, which was really fun. And overall it was just a good little kind of refresher read, or a breather. This is a good one to read if you're in between really serious or really heavy books, because this is just funny and laid back and very lighthearted, and I had a great time with it. So that was Heads Will Roll. As we've established, it is day 4 now, and I have started Hum, which I decided I wanted to read next because this is probably one of my most anticipated releases for the year. I was really, really excited to read it. I am about 108 pages through it right now. I got a pretty late start reading today because when I got home from work I had to edit one of my videos, so that took a little while, and then I was a little bit behind on sitting down and starting to read. I started this on break at work initially, and the beginning of it was so captivating. It drew me right into the story, and I'm still really, really enjoying it. It's very, very fast paced. The chapters are very short, and there are a lot of pages that look like this because that's literally the whole chapter. So it's going by very, very quickly, but I really, really love it so far. I love the narration style, and I love all of the different concepts, just the whole concept of this book. We have this woman, her name is May, and she is very much against technology, but this is the not so distant future where there is a lot of technology incorporated into everyday life, and there are these bots that are called Hums, and they have the human form, but they don't look like humans, but they just kind of have, they have arms and legs and stuff, and they're just kind of in everything now. They do medical procedures, cashier jobs, they're just everywhere, hence the title of this book. But May undergoes this experimental surgery that is supposed to make your face unrecognizable by security system and by Hums. So she does that because she gets a good payout and things are expensive. She needs the money, but she decides she's going to splurge a little bit and take her family for a 3-night stay at the Botanical Gardens, which is one of the places that you can actually go to see real nature and be immersed in nature. This is the type of future society in which it is just very developed cities and big skyscrapers and buildings, and it's really the secluded pieces of nature that only the ultra rich can afford to go to and have that luxury of, which I think is a super fascinating concept. I love when just sci-fi books, sci-fi movies, when they have that sort of setup there with getting away from nature. I just think it's really, really fascinating. I love the main character so far. there are a lot of things that she says and she thinks that really resonate with me, a lot of things that are very relatable, and I just feel the same way as this main character does about a lot of things. I am one of those people that is very much like anti-AI, not anti-AI, but like anti-AI being forced on us and being put in literally everything. I hate it. It scares me. The rapid development of technology scares me a little bit, and it's kind of interesting because this is such like a side rant, but it is relevant to the way that I feel about the book. But when I was younger, like, I definitely had a phone addiction, a social media addiction. Like, it was really bad. I was definitely on the internet at a younger age than I should have been. But as I get older, like, I am very much pushing away from that. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with technology. Not really, because like, if that were the case, I wouldn't have an online community to share all of these thoughts with, but you guys get what I mean. So it's just really interesting because there are a lot of like subtle things in this world. Like, yes, you can tell it's the future because there are a lot of different things and a lot of like, what is the word? Fictional concepts in here, but then Helen Phillips also does a really good job of subtly including things that are currently happening in today's world, and that's what's freaking me out about this book, just because, I don't know, just like the way that she does it is just really doing something great for me. But there is like the idea of being constantly advertised to, having your information stored and tracked so you get personalized advertisements, and it's, you know, even more so in this world with these hums that are everywhere. There's also a little brief mention of school shootings and the way that rather than having gun control or any sort of restrictions on gun usage, they are just teaching the children in schools how to hide better during a lockdown, which is really hitting hard, especially because there was just a really tragic school shooting, so that's really getting to me. It's just doing great things for me. Like, the sci-fi is great. It's also freaking me out because I'm like, I feel like our society is just getting closer and closer and closer to the reality of this world, and it's a little bit scary, but I'm excited to see where the book goes because I think some weird things happen while they're at the botanical gardens. With technology, there have been some very strange, like, subtle things happening so far that I'm really curious to see how it all develops into the larger story. So I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to hit my 200 page mark, but this book is actually only 245 pages, so I'm thinking I'll probably just go ahead and finish it anyways and not just leave 45 pages left by the end of the night, but then I might be staying up a little bit past my bedtime, so we'll see. It is day 5, new day, new book, but before we get to that, let me talk about Hum for a minute because I did finish this last night, but it was past my bedtime, so as soon as I was done, I went straight to sleep because I was very tired, but I really love this book. I gave it 5 stars. I know I talked a lot about it in my last update, and I still feel the same way as everything that I said in there, but one thing that I mentioned in there where I said, like, it's very subtle how she combines these like fictional sci-fi elements with like real world kind of dystopian things. Well, fun fact, I didn't realize that a lot of those things that she was talking about, or like different things that happened in the story in passing, were actually things that happened in real life. So in the end notes, she includes a whole bunch of different articles that talk about different news events that happened and different quotes that she used. For example, a woman in New Zealand had been arrested for going into grocery stores and hiding needles inside strawberries. Also, just like random statistics, which she cites her sources for. 500 million plastic bottles are discarded in your city each year, and just a whole bunch of different things. And then she also includes like other things that she read in order to do research for this book, which I really appreciate, and I'm definitely going to have to see. I don't know if any of these are books or if they're all, I think they're just articles, but it would be very, very interesting to read some of the things that she read to research for this book. I really liked it. There were a lot of quotes, as I already said. One quote actually that I really, really liked was a quote from an article that was cited in the back. If you just give me a second to find it. This is on page 228. The goal of advertising is to rip a hole in your heart so it can then fill that hole with plastic or with any other materials that can be yanked out of the earth and after brief sojourns as objects of desire be converted to waste. Okay. She also talks about our reliance on technology as a society, overconsumption. She touches on parasocial relationships, children being exposed to technology, having access to devices like cell phones and other things at a very young age, and how damaging that is to our mental health. So I'm going to stop talking about this book, but I really loved it. If you are somebody who shares like the same feelings and opinions of me on technology and the rapid development of technology and how scary it is and how like we're all addicted to our devices, this is definitely a book that will freak you out and definitely unnerve you, so don't sleep on it. But today, for day 5, I started The Unmothers by Leslie J. Anderson. I am 81 pages through. I just got to chapter 7. This is a folk horror, and we are following, well, all of the chapters, like, we follow different perspectives, but we have a main character. Her name is Marshall, and she is like a journalist, reporter, and she gets sent to this small town to do like this story because I guess there was news that came out of there that a horse gave birth to a human child. So she goes there to kind of like investigate, interview the family, like get some quotes, and she's like really irritated because she thinks it's, you know, it's just a rumor, like it's obviously fake. These people are probably just covering up for whoever this like teenager is that had this child, right? So she's really irritated because her husband just passed away, so she knows like this is her boss's way of like getting her out of the office for a little bit and just kind of sending her off on a task, but it's not really a task as she views it. But while she's there, an incident occurs where there is like a dead horse and then also a dead person that is found. So now she's even more invested and thinks that there might be a real story here. So she's getting more, more involved with the town and speaking to a lot of the people there and learning different things. And that's why I think it's really fun that we do get little chapters from the people that live in this town. Although, you know, not everything is going to be exposed up front, it does help to hint at the fact that there is something hidden behind the scenes going on here. There was talk of like rituals that must be done and different things, punishments that must be made. So I'm really, really curious to see where it goes. I think it's definitely going to talk a lot about like motherhood, fertility, pregnancy, childbirth topics. It's very slow moving right now, but I just did my folk horror reading vlog, and that was a big theme within the folk horror that I read there. And I think it's just a big thing within folk horror in general, is that it tends to be slower moving, but that's okay. You know, I'm curious to see where it goes. So this is going to be my read. I'm not going to do anything crazy and go above and beyond tonight because I just want to hit my 200-page goal and then relax for the night and watch a movie. So I'm gonna get back to reading. I will see you guys later once I finish the challenge for the day. Welcome to day 6 of the challenge. Yesterday, day 5, was the first and hopefully only time that I failed the challenge. I got about 135 pages through The Unmothers, and I wanted to take a break from reading, so I started watching a movie, and it went a little bit later than I expected, so I just went to bed. But I've been reading tonight, and I just caught up to page 200, which is where I should have ended yesterday. So now I'm going to try to add on 200 today and keep the challenge going with making up for what I lost yesterday. I don't know if that's going to happen. But I'm definitely going to finish this book tonight and at least try to start my next book and get a little bit of the ways into it. Honestly, I'm kind of sad because I'm not really enjoying this one. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it's a little bit too slow for my taste. Like, I'm just not super invested in the characters and the story. Like, I'm interested in the story and where things are going to go and the things that we're going to learn about this town. There's been a few discoveries and some things explained, but I feel like just the whole thing, the way the story is told, I think is a little bit slower than it needs to be, and I'm just not a super big fan of the writing, and I don't feel super connected to the main character or really any of the characters. I do want to see where it goes. I really hope it picks up and does something crazy in the last how many pages? 117 pages, I think. I hope it does something crazy that brings up my enjoyment of it, but I feel like this contributed to me failing the challenge because I wasn't super into the story. If it was a book that I was really, really into and reading very quickly, I think I definitely would have met my goal last night, but because this one was just not the greatest for me, just kind of average, I feel like I wasn't super inclined to keep reading to page 200. So that's where we're at for day 6. I will come back and let you guys know when I finish this book and what my plans are for the rest of the night. I just finished my book literally 30 seconds ago. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars. It was okay. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was getting so distracted for the last 50 to 60 pages of this book, and then the last 30 pages I was I literally don't know what's going on right now because I was just so distracted reading this because I just, once again, it's very slow moving and I didn't really feel connected to the story or really connected to the characters. There are a lot of themes that I like in this book and I could see a lot of people enjoying it, so I would still recommend it if it sounds like something that you'd be interested in and it is on your TBR. Definitely give it a try. There is a lot of feminist undertones. This is about this small town in a very rural setting who takes care of their own, is not very fond of outsiders, and there are a lot of different things going on, a lot of superstitions, some rituals, folklore, obviously because it's folk horror, but also strange things that the town seems to just not acknowledge, and they don't want to talk about these things. There is discussion of bodily autonomy, once again, feminism. So there's a lot of themes that I enjoyed, but it just as a whole didn't really work for me. I think this reads more of a mystery. I wouldn't say a thriller, but more mystery. Yes, there are definitely some horror elements in here, but it's not going to be, I don't know, I guess the type of horror for everybody. So I'm giving it 3 stars. That's really all I have to say about it. I think I'm going to start another book because I have a little bit more that I have to read in order to meet my 200 pages for today. I don't think I'm gonna go further than that and make up what I missed yesterday because it is pretty late already. Normally I wouldn't care because I'm usually off on Sundays. Tomorrow is Sunday, but I am going in for a couple of hours in the morning, so I do want to get to bed at a reasonable time so I'm not super dead. So I'm gonna pick up something else. I'm not sure what yet. Welcome to day 7, the last day of this challenge. I'm just gonna scoot you back a little bit. Today is Sunday. I told you guys I had to go to work for a couple of hours this morning, so I did that. I'm home now. I stopped by Dunkin'. I am not a fan. Okay, I'm a fan of pumpkin treats, pumpkin food, pumpkin bread, pumpkin pie, pumpkin cookies. I like. Pumpkin drinks, I've never really been a big fan of, but I wanted to give this a try, so I decided to do something different, and I got the almond spice iced coffee at Dunkin'. So it has pumpkin, but it also has their toasted almond flavor, and I don't really like it, but it's here, so we're gonna have to drink it. It's just not my preferred. I don't really like pumpkin drinks, and I need to stop trying different pumpkin drinks to make myself like it and just accept that I don't like them. Anyways, I am home for the day, so I am going to do some editing on this vlog actually, and then here's what my plans are for reading. So I want to read some more of The Day Tripper. I did start this last night because I think I needed to read like 18 more pages to reach my goal. So I ended up reading 29 pages of The Day Tripper, and then I put it down because I think after finishing The Unmothers and feeling myself getting distracted at the end of this book, I just wasn't in the mood to read anymore, and I could feel myself even in the beginning of this one just getting distracted from it, especially when you're starting a new book and you don't know the plot or the characters and you have to learn like all this stuff and get connected to the characters. So I just like wasn't in the mood to read any further than that last night, so I want to work on this some more. I also started The Coiled Serpent today, which this I got as an ARC on NetGalley, but this book, I think it's a re-release because it was already published and I had it on my TBR, and then it got added to NetGalley with a publishing date of October. So I think it's just a different edition or something, but I decided to request it since it was on my TBR anyways. So I'm reading that. It's a short story collection. I think it's supposed to be horror. Right now it doesn't really feel like horror, it just feels weird, but I'm also only on the second story, so I don't know. If you've ever gotten a NetGalley ARC, you know that they come to your Kindle as documents, not actually as books because they're not released yet. So it doesn't give you like a page count, but percentage wise, I'm 11% through, which, if everything is correct, is about 22 pages in. So I want to try to read some more of this. I want to at least finish the story I'm on because I stopped in the middle of a story. But right now I'm going to work on editing a little bit, and then I will be reading later, and I don't have any plans for the rest of the night. I don't have to work tomorrow, so I can just do whatever I want, and it feels great. It is the end of day 7. I have completed my challenge, so I just want to sit down and tell you guys a little bit about this book before I end the video. Sorry if I look a mess. I'm about to shower, but can I don't know if you can see on camera, but my left eye, I did not put any mascara on my bottom lashes today. Somehow I forgot. And I've just been walking around like this. Like, I went to work like this. So The Day Tripper is this time travel novel. We are following this main character named Alex, and he is in love with a girl called Holly. So when we start off the book, it's 1995. He's having a great relationship. He loves his life. He's young. I think he's 20 years old or 19. Yeah, he's 20 years old, and he's just living his life with his girly friend who he loves a lot. And then he gets into a fight with this guy, and he wakes up the next day and it is 2010, so like 15 years in the future, and he doesn't know what happened, how he got there. He doesn't know what the heck is going on. And then each day he's just waking up in a different year, in a different time of his life. So sometimes he'll go back to his 20s, and then he wakes up in his 40s, and then he wakes up in his 30s, and he's just like very confused. And he has a lot of like issues in his life. Like, the plot kind of seems, first of all, the plot really reminds me of Una Out of Order, which I have on my TBR. I haven't read this book yet, but I believe that's the plot of this as well, is this woman that wakes up in a different year of her life. Like, I don't know if it's every day or if it's just like every year she's in a different stage of her life or something, but it's just the basic premise reminds me of that. So you would think, like, it kind of sounds like a fun, like a light-hearted book, but it's really not, because our main character has so many struggles. He is an alcoholic, and we are seeing him battle this alcohol addiction. It's really interesting because, like, he'll wake up and he's in his 40s and he can feel like the physical symptoms that are making him want to drink, and it's not like a conscious decision that he's making to like go have a drink. It's just like that's the time, like, that's how he's waking up in his body, and that's what his self in that timeline is used to. I don't know how to explain it because it's not like different timelines. It's all the same timeline. It's just he's jumping around within the timeline. I think it's really interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of like deeper issues and things that are plaguing his life, and I think it's really interesting. There are a few things that I feel like are pretty like straightforward. Like I feel like there are some things within the story that the author like is trying to keep from the reader or trying to make a kind of big plot point or sort of a reveal, but I feel like it's very easy to like figure out where the story is headed before those things are revealed to you or spelled out so simply in the story. I like it and I'm excited to see where it goes. Unfortunately, I won't be finishing it for this vlog, obviously, but we'll see. You guys will see me talk about it at some point in the future. Anyways, that brings us to the end of the week, and I feel like we did really, really good. I think this, like I said, is a really good challenge in order to knock books off of your TBR, and I think it's really helpful to have a goal each day, and I feel like I just am accomplishing so much. Like I feel so accomplished and so successful when I can say I read 200 pages today. So I finished 4 books. I started a 5th one, The Coiled Serpent. I got over halfway, is it over halfway or just about halfway through a 6th book. So I feel like for the entire week, we did pretty well.